If you've been in this game long enough, you've probably got at least one story you wish you could take back, that "why the hell did I sell that" moment that still stings years later. I've been there. I watched a buddy unload a clean, early production Colt Python for what he thought was top market money, only to watch the exact same gun bring almost double at an auction 6 months later. That's not just bad luck. That's the kind of mistake that keeps you up at night. Some revolvers aren't just steel, walnut, and bluing. They're rolling pieces of history. And once they leave your safe, you may never get another shot at owning one. These aren't range beaters you trade for something new. These are the ones you keep, pass down, and watch appreciate faster than most folks' stock portfolios. So today, we're counting down 12 legendary wheel guns. Some famous, some you've probably never held, that you'll regret selling the second they're gone. And trust me, if you think you'll just find another one later, you might be in for a very expensive surprise. Number 12. Ruger Security 6. When Ruger introduced the Security 6 in 1972, they weren't chasing high-polish prestige pieces to impress collectors. They were building a workhorse that could be trusted in the harshest conditions. This was the first Ruger revolver purpose-built for the .357 Magnum cartridge, not an upsized .38 special frame like many of its contemporaries. That engineering decision meant it could digest a steady diet of full-power Magnum loads for decades without going out of time or shaking itself loose. It quickly earned a reputation with law enforcement agencies across the U.S., as well as overseas, for one reason: it simply kept working. Rain, mud, sand, heat, cold, none of it mattered. Pull the trigger, it went bang. Inside, Ruger used music wire coil springs that were far more durable than the flat springs in competing designs, paired with a simplified action that had fewer failure points. The transfer bar safety allowed officers to carry all 6 chambers loaded without fear of an accidental discharge if the hammer took a hit. And true to Ruger's overbuilt reputation, the frame was investment cast to be brutally strong, giving the gun that built-like-a-tank feel in the hand. Barrel options ranged from a concealable 2.75-inch snub for plainclothes carry, a 4-inch duty length, to a 6-inch version for target shooting or hunting, with both blued and stainless finishes available. Its strengths lie in sheer durability, unlimited Magnum endurance, proven reliability in real-world duty use, and a range of configurations that appeal to both shooters and collectors. The safety system inspires confidence, and the design's mechanical simplicity means it's easier to maintain than many of its flashier rivals. That said, the utilitarian looks can't match the visual appeal of a Colt Python or a Smith Wesson Model 27. The factory trigger pull is on the heavy side compared to custom-tuned revolvers. Fixed-sight versions limit long-range precision, and the aftermarket support isn't as rich as the more glamorous brands. On today's market, standard examples can still be found in the $650 to $900 range, while rarer stainless models with adjustable sights are already pushing past $1,500 and climbing. Sell one now, and you might find yourself paying double to replace it in a few years, assuming you can even find one. Number 11. Colt Diamondback. From 1966 to 1988, Colt produced what many collectors now call the Python's little brother, the Diamondback, a revolver that blended the prestige and craftsmanship of Colt's top-tier lineup with a frame small enough to actually carry. Offered in both .38 Special and .22 Long Rifle, the Diamondback was built on Colt's D-frame, but dressed up like a showpiece. Ventilated rib, full-length barrel underlug, adjustable target sights, and a hand-fitted action that delivered a smooth, crisp trigger pull. The concept was simple. Take the quality and feel of the famous Python and package it in a lighter, more practical revolver for both defensive carry and target shooting. It came in barrel lengths from 2.5 to 6 inches, with rich royal blue finishes, or bright nickel plating, and the same Colt-level fit and finish that modern CNC machines still struggle to replicate. The 38-point Python's special versions appealed to serious shooters looking for a manageable, accurate sidearm, while the 22 LR models became favorites for economical target work and as training revolvers that mimicked their centerfire counterparts. In an era when many revolvers were purely utilitarian, the Diamondback managed to combine elegance and performance in a way that made it stand out. And that combination is exactly why its value has skyrocketed since production ended. The strengths are clear: Python quality action in a lighter, more carry-friendly frame, exceptional accuracy thanks to the ventilated rib and fully adjustable sights, multiple calibers and barrel lengths for different roles, and craftsmanship that is now extinct in mass production. But there are drawbacks. Collector demand has pushed prices high, especially for mint-condition examples, and the small frame isn't ideal for a steady diet of heavy 38 potrout to 28 plepi loads. Parts for repairs require a skilled Colt gunsmith, and finish quality can vary between production years. Today, 38 special models in good condition often command $1,500 to $200, while the 22 LR versions bring $1,200 $2,800, with pristine boxed examples or rare barrel lengths fetching even more. The simple truth? Once you let a clean Diamondback slip away, replacing it will hurt your wallet a lot more than it did the day you sold it. Number 10. Freedom Arms Model 83. Introduced in the early 1980s, the Freedom Arms Model 83 wasn't just another revolver. It was a statement piece for the serious big-bore handgunner. Built in small batches in Freedom, Wyoming, this 5-shot single-action revolver was purpose-engineered to handle the blistering .454 Castle cartridge, a round that delivers rifle-level energy from a handgun platform. Before the 500 S&W Magnum ever existed, the .454 Castle was the king of commercial revolver power, pushing 240 to 300 grain bullets at velocities exceeding 1,600 feet per second. In the hands of a skilled shooter, the Model 83 could cleanly take down big game from white-tailed deer all the way up to Alaskan brown bear, and do it with precision. The construction is overbuilt in every sense. Frames are machined from stainless steel billet, cylinders are line-bored to the barrel for perfect chamber alignment, and the lockwork is hand-fitted to bank vault tightness. The 5-shot cylinder design isn't a capacity gimmick. It's a safety measure, giving each chamber more steel between rounds to contain the Kazul's extreme pressures. Fit and finish are at a level few production guns can match, with crisp single-action triggers, deeply recessed chambers, and tolerances so tight you'll barely feel a cylinder gap. Offered in multiple barrel lengths, from short packing pistol versions to 10-inch hunting models, the Model 83 is as much a precision tool as it is a brute force weapon. Its strengths are obvious: unmatched strength and durability for extreme pressure cartridges, accuracy that rivals custom target revolvers, and build quality that makes it a lifetime or multi-generational piece. On the flip side, that power comes with heavy recoil. The large frame and long barrels make it impractical for everyday carry, and ammo is both expensive and harder to find than common calibers. Plus, the single-action operation demands practice if you want to run it quickly and accurately. On the current market, well-maintained examples typically bring $2,200, $3,500, depending on barrel length and configuration, with special editions or scoped hunting packages commanding even more. Sell one of these, and you'll be losing not just a revolver, but one of the most finely crafted big-bore handguns ever made, the kind of firearm that only goes up in value and respect over time. Number 9. Dan Wesson. In the early 1980s, Dan Wesson Arms decided to push the revolver world into uncharted territory. The result was the .357 Maximum Super Mag, a revolver chambered for an experimental cartridge so hot it made the standard .357 Magnum look like a .22 LR in comparison. Stretching the Magnum case to 1.605 inches and stuffing it with enough powder to push 158 180 grain bullets at rifle-level velocities. The .357 Maximum was designed to give handgun hunters a flatter trajectory and more energy at long range than anything in its class. Fired from a long-barreled revolver, it could reach 1,800 feet per second, numbers that were unheard of for a wheelgun at the time. The revolver itself carried Dan Wesson's signature interchangeable barrel system, meaning a single frame could be fitted with multiple barrel lengths and shrouds, from a handy 6-inch tube to a massive 10 or 12-inch hunting setup. Each barrel was tensioned for accuracy, and the heavy shrouds helped manage recoil from the hot .357 Maximum loads. Built on a reinforced large frame, the Super Mag could handle the extreme pressures without the loosening or timing issues that plagued lighter designs. Its strengths were undeniable. It was the only production revolver ever chambered in .357 Maximum, offering true rifle-like performance from a handgun. The interchangeable barrel system made it incredibly versatile, and the limited production numbers guaranteed collectability from the start. But there were problems. The intense pressures caused flame cutting of the top strap with lighter bullets, which scared off many shooters. Ammunition was expensive and quickly became scarce after the cartridge's short commercial life, meaning handloading is almost a requirement today. The unique barrel system also requires special tools, which can intimidate casual owners. And holster options are limited due to the gun's bulk and non-standard barrel profiles. In today's market, complete multi-barrel sets in good condition often fetch $100,800, $3,500, while rare barrel lengths or factory presentation cases can push prices even higher. If you let one go, you're giving up a piece of handgun history. The brief moment when revolvers flirted with rifle ballistics. And you'll have a hard time finding another in such complete form. Number 8. Smith Wesson Model 57. Back in 1964, Smith & Wesson and Remington thought they had solved the eternal law enforcement balancing act: create a cartridge with more punch than the .38 Special, but without the brutal recoil of the .44 Magnum. The result was the .41 Magnum, a round that delivered flat trajectories, deep penetration, and superior terminal performance while still being controllable for well-trained officers. On paper, it was perfect. In practice, it was a commercial misfire. Police departments stuck with the familiar .38s, or later jumped straight to 9mm semi-autos, leaving the .41 Magnum to languish in obscurity. The Model 57 was the flagship revolver for this new cartridge, built on Smith & Wesson's beefy N-frame. It featured adjustable target sights, a finely tuned double-action trigger, and the kind of fit and finish S&W was famous for during its golden era. Offered in blued or nickel finishes with barrel lengths from 4 to 8.3 to 8 inches, the Model 57 was as accurate as it was powerful. Handloaders loved the cartridge's potential, and handgun hunters found it perfect for medium game like deer and wild hogs. But with low adoption and high ammunition costs, sales never took off, making surviving examples relatively scarce today. Its strengths include the N-frame's legendary strength and durability, ballistic performance that slots neatly between the .357 Magnum and the .44 Magnum, and a perfect balance in the hand that many shooters prefer over heavier big bores. It's also a conversation piece among enthusiasts, a reminder of a nearly perfect law enforcement round that never got its chance. The downsides? Factory ammo is still relatively hard to find, and expensive when you do. Factory load variety is limited compared to more popular magnums, and holster options can be thin due to the model's rarity. These days, standard examples often trade hands in the $1,800 to $3,500 range, with rare barrel lengths or early production guns easily crossing the $4,000 mark. Letting a clean Model 57 leave your safe means parting with not just a finely made revolver, but a piece of ballistic history. The perfect police cartridge that police never wanted. Number 7. Colt Officer's Model Match. From its introduction in the early 20th century to its retirement in 1969, The Colt Officer's Model match set the gold standard for revolver accuracy. Built for competitive target shooting, this revolver was the choice of champions at Camp Perry and in police pistol matches for decades. Every single example was hand-fitted by Colt's master gunsmiths to tolerances so tight that modern CNC machining still struggles to replicate them. The trigger pull was glass smooth, the timing was flawless, and the lockup felt like a bank vault. With adjustable target sights, a wide target hammer, and a competition-tuned action, the Officer's Model match was purpose-built for punching the smallest groups possible at 25 and 50 yards. It was offered in several variations over its long production life, including pre-war and post-war models, each with its own collector following. The earlier guns often featured case-hardened frames and richly blued barrels, while later versions brought incremental refinements to sight systems and ergonomics. Many came chambered in .38 Special, though a few rarer examples were produced in .22 LR for rimfire competition. Either way, they were built with the same obsessive attention to detail. The strengths are obvious, exceptional out-of-the-box accuracy proven in decades of competition, hand-fitted craftsmanship that is impossible to find in today's mass-produced revolvers, and historical significance as the dominant competition wheelgun of its era. But there are trade-offs. The full target configuration makes it impractical for concealed carry. The adjustable sights are delicate and can be damaged if mishandled, and the light target trigger is not suited for defensive use. Finding original parts for restoration can be a challenge, especially if you want to keep a gun factory correct. Today, post-war examples typically run $1,800 to $3,800, with pre-war models, especially those in excellent condition, easily breaking the $4,000 mark. Selling one isn't just losing a piece of target shooting history, it's giving up a revolver that will outshoot most modern handguns right out of the box, and whose craftsmanship simply isn't being replicated anymore. Number 6. Colt Python. When Colt rolled out the Python in 1955, they didn't just release another .357 Magnum, they unleashed what many shooters and collectors still call the finest production revolver ever made. Built on Colt's I-frame, the Python was hand-fitted and tuned by the company's top gunsmiths, each one inspected and adjusted until the action was glass smooth and the lockup felt like a precision instrument. Its full underlug barrel, ventilated rib, and impeccable balance weren't just for looks. They tamed recoil, steadied the sight picture, and helped deliver the kind of accuracy normally reserved for custom shop guns. Offered in barrel lengths from a snappy 2.5 inches to the iconic 6-inch target model, and even out to 8 inches, the Python came in royal blue, bright nickel, and later stainless steel finishes. Every detail screamed quality, from the deep, mirror-like bluing to the crisp, stack-free double-action trigger pull. For decades, it was the revolver against which all others were measured, dominating both the competition circuit and the display cases of serious collectors. Its strengths are legendary: unmatched out-of-the-box accuracy, hand-fitted mechanical perfection, and a level of finish that has become prohibitively expensive to replicate today. The Python's reputation has also made it a bulletproof investment. Early production models have doubled or even tripled in value over the last decade. But owning one isn't without challenges. Parts and service require a gunsmith who understands Colt's complex V-spring action. Prices have climbed so high that many owners hesitate to shoot them regularly, and the high-gloss finish can be prone to showing even minor handling marks. On the current market, shooter-grade Pythons often start around $3,000, $4,000, while mint-condition early models, especially those with boxes and paperwork, easily break $6,000 and can push well past $10,000 for rare barrel lengths or finishes. Letting a clean Python go is almost always a financial mistake, and for many, an emotional one, because nothing else feels quite like it in the hand. Number 5. Manurhin MR73. If there's such a thing as a Special Forces-grade revolver, The Manurhin MR73 is it. Built in France, beginning in 1973, this revolver was designed specifically for the GIGN, the elite counter-terrorism and hostage rescue unit of the French National Gendarmerie. The contract specs were brutally demanding. The gun had to deliver sub-2-inch groups at 50 meters, survive unlimited dry-fire practice, and maintain flawless timing under tens of thousands of full-power 357 Magnum rounds. Manurhin didn't just meet those requirements, they exceeded them. The MR73 is built like a precision instrument. Cold, hammer-forged barrels provide match-grade accuracy straight from the factory. The action is meticulously hand-fitted and adjustable for trigger weight in both single and double action, allowing an operator to fine-tune it for duty or competition. The steel is specially heat-treated for exceptional wear resistance, giving the revolver a service life that can stretch past 100,000 rounds without loosening up. Every gun is test-fired extensively before it leaves the factory, and the fit and finish rival anything coming out of Switzerland or Germany. Its strengths are almost overkill for civilian use. Exceptional accuracy that rivals custom competition guns, extreme durability under sustained Magnum use, and the prestige of being the sidearm of one of the world's most respected tactical units. But it's not without drawbacks. Import numbers into the U.S. have always been small, meaning parts and service can require long waits and international sourcing. Metric specifications can complicate work for American gunsmiths, and the price tag reflects both the build quality and the rarity. On today's market, MR73s in good condition generally run $2,800 to $4,500, with rare configurations or early GIGN-marked guns easily topping $5,000. Selling one isn't just losing a revolver, it's giving up one of the most overbuilt, combat-proven wheel guns in existence, a piece of engineering that may never be matched in the revolver world again. Number 4. Smith & Wesson Model 53. Produced from 1961 to 1974, the Smith & Wesson Model 53 was one of the company's most ambitious experiments, and one of its most temperamental. Chambered for the .22 Remington Jet, a bottlenecked centerfire cartridge designed to deliver rifle-like velocities from a revolver, the Model 53 could push a 40-grain bullet to over 2,100 feet per second from its 6-inch barrel. On paper, it was a groundbreaking concept: flat shooting, high-velocity performance in a handgun small enough to carry. In practice, physics had other plans. Shooters quickly discovered that the .22 Jet had a nasty habit of backing out in the chamber under recoil, causing sticky extraction or even locking up the cylinder. Smith & Wesson included chamber inserts to allow the gun to fire .22 LR as a backup option, but losing those inserts instantly killed collector value and utility. Accuracy could be excellent when the stars aligned, but inconsistencies in ignition and case setback plagued even careful users. Still, the Model 53 stands out as one of the few revolvers to ever attempt true rifle performance from a handgun without resorting to a Wildcat cartridge or custom build. Its appeal today comes from its rarity, distinctive performance profile, and unique place in firearms history. It's a conversation starter in any collection, and complete sets with all 6 chamber inserts, factory box, and papers command a serious premium. The flip side is obvious. Ammunition is scarce and expensive. The extraction issues are inherent to the design, and finding replacement inserts is almost impossible. In the current market, complete, well-preserved Model 53 packages typically bring $2,500 to $5,000, with pristine, early production examples pushing even higher. Selling one means parting with a revolver that represents a fascinating what-if moment in handgun development, a design that dared to stretch revolver ballistics into rifle territory, even if it couldn't quite tame the laws of physics. Number 3. Colt Single Action Army. If there's a single revolver that embodies the American West, it's the Colt Single Action Army. First introduced in 1873 and produced in its first-generation form until 1940, this was more than just a sidearm. It was the standard-issue U.S. cavalry revolver, the trusted companion of ranch hands, lawmen, and outlaws alike. Chambered in .45 Colt and built with individual hand-fitting by skilled craftsmen, every first-generation SAA carries with it a level of old-world workmanship that's almost impossible to replicate today. These guns were made in an era before CNC machining, when each frame, cylinder, and barrel was filed, stoned, and polished to fit by human hands. The case-hardened frames display unique swirling color patterns that make every revolver a one-of-a-kind piece of art. Serial numbers are meticulously documented, allowing collectors to pinpoint exact production dates and original configurations. Many examples have direct provenance to frontier lawmen, military service, or historical events, making them not just firearms, but tangible artifacts of American history. The strengths of a first-generation SAA are clear: unparalleled historical value, craftsmanship that has stood for over a century, and enduring shootability for those willing to feed it appropriate loads. But they come with their share of cautions. Original examples are fragile by modern standards, black powder era, metallurgy limits, ammunition choices, and the market is rife with refinished guns and outright counterfeits requiring expert authentication before purchase. Today, even rough-condition examples often bring $5,000 or more, with clean, all-original guns easily reaching $10,000, $15,000, and documented, historically significant pieces commanding far more. Selling a first-generation SAA isn't just parting with a revolver, it's letting go of a piece of the Old West, a direct link to a time and place that shaped both American culture and the legend of the six-gun itself. Number 2. Smith Wesson Model 27. Introduced in 1935, the Smith Wesson Model 27 wasn't just another revolver. It was the birth of the .357 Magnum itself, a cartridge that would set the standard for revolver performance for decades to come. Built on Smith & Wesson's large N-frame and hand-fitted to a level that rivaled custom guns, the Model 27 was a prestige piece from day one. It wasn't simply made, it was crafted, with each gun assembled and tuned by master craftsmen to deliver flawless timing, bank vault lockup, and accuracy that could embarrass a target pistol. The original registered Magnum program made each early gun a bespoke order, with the buyer able to choose barrel length, sight configuration, and finish. Every registered example came with a certificate and a full production record, creating a paper trail that today's collectors revere. Barrel lengths ranged from short 3.5-inch duty guns to 8.75-inch long-range models, all with checkered top straps to cut glare, a detail few revolvers ever offered. Its strengths are obvious. Historical significance as the first .357 Magnum revolver, meticulous pre-war and early post-war craftsmanship, a huge variety of configurations for collectors, and proven performance as both a duty and sporting sidearm. The drawbacks are just as real. The most desirable early examples are expensive, authentication can be complex, and original parts for restoration are scarce. Later production guns, while still excellent, don't command quite the same cachet as the early registered Magnums, but even those are climbing in value. On the current market, standard vintage Model 27s often bring $2,200, $4,500, while documented registered Magnums routinely hit $6,000 and up, with pristine, rare barrel-length examples pushing into 5 figures. Selling one isn't just losing a revolver. It's giving up the original Magnum, the revolver that wrote the first chapter in high-performance handgun history. Number 1. Smith & Wesson Model 29. When Smith & Wesson launched the Model 29 in 1955, they weren't trying to create a Hollywood icon. They were building the most powerful production handgun in the world. Chambered in .44 Magnum, it was designed for serious outdoorsmen and handgun hunters who needed the kind of stopping power usually reserved for rifles. Firing a 240-grain bullet at around 1,400 feet per second, the Model 29 could take down big game or stop a charging bear. And it did so with style. Built on the massive N-frame, With deeply polished bluing or bright nickel finishes and adjustable target sights, it was as beautiful as it was brutal. For the first 18 years of its life, the Model 29 was a well-kept secret among dedicated shooters. That changed overnight in 1971 when Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry hit theaters. Suddenly, the revolver that was once a niche hunting tool became a cultural phenomenon. Demand spiked so hard that S&W couldn't keep up, and prices for used guns exceeded the retail cost of new ones, a rarity in the firearms world. Collectors today still prize early pre-Dirty Harry production guns for their finish quality, hand-fitting, and lower production numbers. Its strengths are obvious: massive stopping power in a revolver, classic end-frame balance, movie star fame that makes it instantly recognizable, and a collector following that has kept values strong for decades. But it's not without downsides. Full power 44. Magnum loads produce heavy recoil and a punishing muzzle blast, especially from shorter barrels. Premium ammunition can run 3 or more per round, and the big frame and long barrel options make it impractical for most concealed carry. Today, shooter-grade examples start around $1,200, while clean, early production guns with boxes and papers often fetch $2,800 or more. Rare barrel lengths and special editions can climb significantly higher. Selling one, especially a pre-1971 example, isn't just letting go of a revolver. It's giving up a piece of firearms history, a gun that changed both the shooting world and popular culture forever. So, there you have it. 12 revolvers that aren't just guns, but milestones in firearms history. Each one tells a story, from the brute strength of the Ruger Security 6, to the precision elegance of the Colt Python, to the sheer cultural impact of the Smith Wesson Model 29. These aren't the kind of wheel guns you flip for quick cash or trade away on a whim. Once they leave your safe, the odds of finding another in the same condition at the same price are slim to none. Whether it's the history, the craftsmanship, the performance, or the investment potential, these are the guns you keep, shoot, and pass down. The next guy who gets his hands on them, he's probably not letting go. Make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Stay sharp.